Hello there, my beautiful, radiant Leo souls, and welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom. I want you to gather close and truly open your majestic heart to this message, because right now, in the unseen realms, a profound and powerful shift is taking place. If you've been feeling a strange sense of quiet, a stillness in the air where chaos once raged, it is because something that once stood tall and defiant is beginning to crumble to dust behind you. They fundamentally misunderstood the nature of your power. A lion does not need to roar constantly to prove its strength. Its very presence is what commands respect. And its absence creates a chilling and undeniable vacuum. The universe, my friend, does not sleep. The divine source is not blind. And karma, let me assure you, is never, ever late. In many spiritual traditions, this is known as ripened karma. It is not something that is wished for or prayed for. It is a natural consequence, a harvest of seeds that were sown long ago. It is the moment of truth when the light of cosmic law forces the darkness to reveal its true, unmasked face. And so now, somewhere out there, people are losing sleep. Not from a sudden pang of guilt, but from relentless, haunting nightmares. There are people feeling their energy being mysteriously drained, experiencing strange illnesses without a clear cause, inexplicable financial losses, and a deep, gnawing pain in their soul that has no name. They cannot understand why this is happening. But you, dear Leo, you understand, because you have walked through that very darkness before them. You know precisely what it feels like to be betrayed, to be misunderstood, to be abandoned by those you showered with your golden light, and still be expected to shine. You once resided in a silent hell, one where your own generous heart was the only thing preventing you from wanting others to suffer as you had. But that hell is no longer your domain. It has opened its gates for the very ones who once so callously cast you into it. You have been liberated, not through revenge, but through your own magnificent evolution. My dearest Leo, there were moments, weren't there? Moments where you stood before the mirror, your shoulders heavy, and whispered to yourself, "No one will ever truly see the weight I've carried. No one will understand the strength it took just to get through today." You told yourself, "It's all right, as long as I survive." But the universe did not just want you to survive. It was preparing you to reign. It recorded every tear you bravely blinked back, every roar of frustration you swallowed, every wound you masked with a dazzling smile. They are not losing material things, or if they are, that is merely a symptom of the real disease. The true loss they are experiencing is the peace within their own souls, the sacred connection to their own conscience. They are losing their grip because the radiant light you once so freely gave was the only thing holding the fragile pieces of their spirit together. It was your stability they leaned on, your warmth they basked in, your generosity that made them feel whole. Now that your light has been recalled, not as an act of revenge, but as a sacred act of self-preservation, they are left to face the fragmented and hollow truth of who they are without you. They may still be breathing, but they are like lifeless shells. They may attend parties and laugh loudly, but it is only to drown out the silent screams that no one else can hear. They believe that forgetting you, replacing you, would be a simple matter. But the soul never, ever forgets what once saved it. And you, magnificent Leo, were the last miracle they casually turned away from. Now, it is crucial for your healing that you understand this. You do not need to witness their collapse to be whole. Your healing is not dependent on their suffering. You only need to fully grasp this one beautiful truth. The moment you truly let go, the moment you stopped looking back, the moment you chose to turn all of that magnificent, radiant love back towards yourself. That was the moment karma began its sacred work, not because you begged for it, but because the universe saw a sovereign finally choosing to honor their own divine worth. Take a deep, conscious breath with me right now. Can you feel that? That sense of lightness in your chest? That is the sound of the energetic cords that once bound you to their drama and their pain finally, quietly, breaking. You are no longer carrying the weight of their choices. You are no longer questioning if you did something wrong. You did nothing wrong, my dear Leo. But hear me, and hear me well, my lion-hearted friend. That collapse is not happening within you. It is happening to them, those very souls who witnessed your brilliance and for reasons rooted in their own shadows, believed you would not survive their departure, their betrayal, or their indifference. They are now facing a reckoning, but it is not one born of your anger or your revenge. You, dear Leo, with your magnificent and generous heart, would never wish true suffering upon another. You just loved with the heart of a lion fiercely, loyally, and with every fiber of your being. And now, all of that powerful love is returning to you, multiplied, in the form of divine protection from realms you cannot even see. You were never alone in this. Not for a single moment. I'm not sharing this with you so that you can feel smug or victorious. I am sharing this so that you can finally understand the depth of your own sacred protection. Have you ever felt a sudden surge of strength just when you were about to break? Have you ever heard a quiet, knowing whisper in your heart urging you to keep going just before you were ready to give up? That is not your imagination, dear Leo. That is your spiritual court, your divine entourage, holding you, guiding you, protecting your light. I know you never thought of yourself as needing protection. The mighty lion is the protector, after all, but you chose the path of light and integrity in a world that often rewards shadow and deceit. You chose nobility when revenge was so tempting. And that very choice, that radiant light of your character, is precisely the reason you were lifted up, while others began their inevitable descent. They are crying now, but you no longer need to wipe away their tears. You did that once. You forgave. You carried the burden of mistakes that were never yours to bear. Now, your only task is to stand still in your magnificent power and watch as the universe effortlessly rebalances everything on its own. Because this is not the end of a story, my friend. This is the divine repositioning of a king or queen back onto their rightful throne. There will come a moment, if it hasn't already, when you will look out at the world you once shared with them, and you will wonder, why are the loudest voices now so eerily silent? Why are the proudest shoulders now stooped, as if carrying an invisible mountain of sorrow? Why does their laughter no longer reach their eyes? Let me tell you the cosmic truth behind this unfolding. It is not because they miss you in the way you once yearned for. It is not born of a noble, heartfelt regret. It is because the reality they tried so desperately to deny the reality of their own actions and the sacredness of the light they took for granted is now arriving in their lives. And this reality does not knock politely. It enters like a silent, creeping frost, chilling everything from the inside out. You are not doing anything to cause this. You are simply living, breathing, and beginning to shine again in your own orbit. And that, my dear Leo, that simple act of your peaceful existence is precisely what is shattering everything inside of them. They never, in their wildest dreams, imagined you could be truly at peace without them. They never expected that your reclaimed light could act as a divine mirror, reaching into the deepest, darkest corners of their own soul and exposing the guilt they tried so desperately to bury. Understand this, Leo. Some debts can never be repaid with a simple apology. Not because your heart is unwilling to forgive. Your heart is one of the most generous in the zodiac, but because they do not know how to take true responsibility for the state of their own soul. They believed they could outrun the consequences. They thought they could escape the lies, the secret betrayals, the quiet manipulations, by simply pretending it never happened. But the soul never forgets. And your soul, my friend, is the silent, majestic witness they now fear the most. Karma doesn't arrive with thunder and lightning. It doesn't scream or announce its presence. It comes in the form of restless dreams that offer no peace. It manifests as that hollow, empty feeling that follows a fleeting success. It is the profound loneliness that wraps around them like a shroud, even in a crowded room. Karma is the slow, silent collapse of the inner world, a collapse no one else can see, but one they feel in every single bone. There are people walking around today whose souls have already departed. Death is not always a dramatic, visible event. Sometimes it is just a long, hollow emptiness that no amount of money, no new partner, no worldly success can ever fill. And the most terrifying part for them? There is no one to blame. And that is the deepest, most inescapable kind of hell. They are losing everything that truly matters. Not just material possessions, but the sacred connection to their own spirit. No, this is something far more profound. This is the universe itself, in its infinite wisdom, stepping in to rebalance the scales. Karma has awakened, and it is finally doing the work that you, in your grace and dignity, no longer have to. Now, before we dive deep into this incredible cosmic justice, I want to feel your energy and amplify our collective power. This is a journey we take together. They smile but feel no joy. They eat but feel no nourishment. They achieve but feel no fulfillment. Because the precious ingredient they've lost is you. Not because you were their savior, Leo, you are responsible for your own salvation, not theirs, but because your presence was the final doorway that led them back to their own conscience, to their own potential for light. They slammed that door shut themselves, and now they are utterly lost in a labyrinth of their own making, with no map and no way home. You may have wondered, through all your trials, why have I endured so much? And yet my faith, my core of light, has not been extinguished. It is because your magnificent soul was never meant to live only for yourself. You are a living bridge, a testament to the world that even after the most devastating heartbreak, the light can not only return, but can shine even more brightly. They are losing everything, but you are finding yourself again on a level you never thought possible. And that, my majestic Leo, is the greatest, most beautiful cosmic reversal of all. If you are still carrying the label of survivor in your heart, allow me, with all the reverence your incredible soul deserves, to gently correct you. You are no longer just a survivor, my dear Leo. You are a pathmaker. You are a lighthouse. Because only those who have walked directly through the flames, without allowing their hearts to turn to stone, can safely guide others through the darkness. You didn't just endure, you evolved. You forged a new path where none existed, a path paved with courage, dignity, and a refusal to be defined by your wounds. No one will give you an award for this. There will be no applause or public recognition, but people will feel it. They will stand in your presence, and feel their own hearts soften. They will hear the calm, steady tone of your voice, and something deep within them will want to let go of their own burdens. They will look into your eyes and see a resilience that doesn't scream for attention, but glows with the quiet, unwavering intensity of a star that has learned to be its own source of light. My dear Leo, your need to prove your worth is over. You no longer have to tell the stories of what you've overcome. Your calm, deep, unshakable presence is the loudest, most powerful testimony there, Island. Nothing more needs to be said. You have become the living embodiment of the message. You are the river of peace, rising in the heart of what was once despair. And let's talk about healing. Healing is not about forgetting. True healing is when you can look back at the place that once shattered you and smile. Not a bitter smile, but a wise, knowing smile. A smile that says, "That pain did not destroy me. It only shed my old skin. And now you carry magnificent wings, woven from the very threads of those wounds. You no longer survive in anyone's shadow. You no longer beg for a seat at a table that once made you feel small. You are now shining in an entirely new reality, a dimension reserved for the brave and royal souls who chose healing over bitterness and sovereignty over revenge. Hear this in the very core of your being, Leo. You have traveled so far into the light that going back is no longer even an option. It would be like trying to force the sun back into a tiny seed. You can no longer shrink yourself to fit into relationships that lack honor and tenderness. You can no longer accept a love that requires your silence as its price of admission. You no longer fall when someone lets go of your hand, because you are now flying with wings you had to cry for, had to watch break, and had to painstakingly stitch back together all by yourself. This is not where the video ends, my friends. This is where your true reign begins. I want you to take a moment after this, in quiet reflection, and write down what you have officially left behind. Write it down as a royal decree, a sacred ritual of release. It doesn't need to be long or poetic. It just needs to be true. Because sometimes, simply declaring to yourself what you will no longer carry is the key that unlocks the door to your glorious future. Thank you for quietly walking through shadows that no one else saw. If you are ready to reclaim your throne and step fully into your sovereign light, do me a favor right now and let the universe know you are present. In the comments below, I want you to write this powerful declaration: I'm ready for my cosmic breakthrough. Are you? And if you haven't already, please press that subscribe button to become a part of our Cosmic Wisdom family. We are building a community of empowered souls, and your radiant presence is a vital part of it. Let's begin. Thank you for not allowing the world's harshness to turn your beautiful, golden heart to stone. Thank you for protecting that sacred flame within you, even when you thought it had been extinguished forever. To you, my dearest, most magnificent Leo, may you always remember this. Not everyone can walk through the kind of heartbreak you endured and still keep a heart that knows how to love. But you did. And that, in and of itself, is a miracle this world desperately needs to witness. Now go forth and shine. I am not here today to recount the battles you have fought, magnificent Leo. The universe has already borne witness to every silent tear you've shed behind a proud smile, every moment you held your head high when your heart was breaking. Instead, I am here to illuminate a truth that has been silently unfolding in the energetic fabric of your reality. A truth you have likely sensed, but perhaps never dared to name aloud. The brilliant, life-giving light that you, as a child of the sun, so generously poured into the lives of others, that warmth, that forgiveness, that unwavering loyalty, it has now been withdrawn from their world. And in its absence, a profound and chilling darkness has begun to creep in. A darkness that is now consuming the very ones who believed they could dim your shine and never pay the price. Let's be crystal clear. You are not punishing them. Your soul, in its regal wisdom, has simply moved on. It is the void left by your incredible light that is now showing them the truth of their own inner emptiness. The soul has its own impeccable system of justice, a divine accounting that requires no mortal intervention. Karma does not need your voice to be activated. It only needed your truth and your dignified silence. Think back, dear Leo. You chose love when they offered betrayal. You chose grace when they slandered your name. You chose to turn and walk away, like the true royalty you are, without a single curse or cry for vengeance when they left you standing in the ruins. And in the quiet moments that followed, didn't a part of you question that choice? Didn't you wonder, was I wrong for being so noble? Am I the weak one, the fool, for not fighting back with claws and fury? Oh, my beautiful lion, you were never, ever the loser in that exchange. You survived with your honor intact, with your spirit untarnished. You didn't lose a thing. You simply shed a weight that was never yours to carry. What you couldn't see then, but what is becoming devastatingly clear now, is that your majestic silence left an echoing emptiness in their souls, a void so profound that no fleeting pleasure, no new distraction, no hollow victory can ever hope to fill it. They laughed when they thought you had fallen. They celebrated your quiet retreat, mistaking your grace for surrender and your lack of retaliation for weakness.